Your guardian angel is about to make their presence more obvious and known to you. And I'm hearing take a deep breath. So it feels like this is an energy where there's a lot of peace that is brought to you. Spontaneous healing is what is coming through. So this may be something that in the dream space, your guardian angel is coming towards you, sending you energies, aligning with you in order to provide you with a lot of renewal, with almost like an energetic boost, something that helps to kind of fill in the space that you've created within yourself energetically, emotionally, even within your life, by closing the door to people, places, and things that didn't serve your highest good. And you've created like a space for things that you've cut out of your life, or you've chosen to sort of like move forward, look towards the future, and not sort of like ruminate or try to fix the past or anything like that. And it's created almost like an energetic vacuum. And the universe hates a vacuum. It always fills it with something. In this case, because you've been very diligent, very honest about like doing that shadow work, really discovering what your highest good is and seeking to align with that as best as you can. This is something where your guardian angel is almost, like that ambassador that is bringing forth to you the energy of light, the energy of love, the energy of healing, in order to fill those spaces within, kind of fill those sort of cracks that you've emptied out. You've cleaned these things out of yourself, and it's your guardian angel is getting ready to fill these things with light, so that an undercurrent of like worry, or maybe even like exhaustion, if you've been going through some things, you're having like ascension symptoms, you've been raising that vibration very consciously, or you've been very kind of affected by things cosmically or even sort of socially going on. There's a sense of you're now in this like right energy within yourself to receive like the energies of healing, the energies of an uplifting. Like you've created that space within, and so it's getting ready to be poured into you. You've chosen to fill your own cup, and so this is something where, in preparation for experiences that reciprocate with you more on that level, your guardian angel is wanting to come forth and kind of match that effort, and in some cases even exceed that, so that you are pouring from like an overflowing cup. You've done your due diligence to sort of just like return home to yourself, and now that energy from source, from God, from the divine, from your kind of like angelic allies, specifically your guardian angel, like your primary guardian angel. The energies of Archangel Michael is coming through very strongly here, so some of you may work with him, may resonate with him, and I'm hearing a manifestation of Archangel Michael. So he may show up for you in a variety of forms. There may be certain kind of like signs or synchronicities or just little clues that involve kind of your personal working with him, your personal relationship or understanding of him, or even the energy that he is sort of an embodiment of, that are going to start to show up for you as that confirmation, not just of like the constancy of his presence as you connect with it, as you understand it typically, but something that really shows like he's inserting himself into your energy. He's making himself more obvious, more known to you at this time. And it's not even just in terms of like a protective energy. This is something where it's almost like he's giving, he's bestowing, he's sort of like imbuing you with that kind of matched frequency of a more empowered stance that you've chosen to take within yourself and within your life. And he's bringing forth that equivalent, it feels like, for you. Again, in sort of like the dream space, maybe in meditations, if you work with him consistently, you pray and kind of invoke him very consistently, it feels like the nature of those experiences, those encounters, those kind of like touch points between yourself and his energy, or that kind of spectrum of energy that he's a representative of, there's almost like there's more that's going to be experienced out of that. You're going to be coming out of those sessions coming through that kind of portal of time or that experience, feeling more rejuvenated, feeling more uplifted, feeling more certain about kind of like what the path forward looks like for you, ways in which you're able to kind of address sort of your life as it is, or goals that you're trying to work towards, or even just, you know, if you're in a place of sort of like looking at your journey, you know, how far you've come in life, or, you know, again, steps that you've taken to kind of choose better for yourself, and sort of then looking at your progress in that capacity. It feels like these energies, this guardian angel energy, this archangel Michael energy, it's going to give you the sight to really perceive just how far you've come. Not just to celebrate and congratulate yourself, but it feels like to also motivate you to continue to stay the course, continue to move forward, continue to strive for and reach for that higher emanation of yourself embodied in the here and now. So we have enlightenment. It feels like with this energy of being uplifted, you're going to be able to look back at certain circumstances, cycles that you had to close out, previous chapters of your life, and rather than being triggered, or rather than kind of like seeing something else that is, you know, a lesson that you missed, or something that you got to process, or work through, or come to terms with, it's almost like you're able to look at it with the energy of true detachment. Again, that Archangel Michael energy is coming through here, and it's almost kind of like you're wearing his armor. You know, the things that might have bothered you, you're able to just sort of look at that and have it pass you by. You're able to see things with the energy of the tactician. Sort of like, this was necessary for my growth and evolution, or certain things I experienced were completely unacceptable, yet I chose to grow and evolve beyond those things. And so I've made that have a purpose for me. It might not have been something that was kind of like written into my life blueprint as my soul drafted it prior to this incarnation, but these are the battles that I have fought and that I have come out victorious, because I am still here. I am better than I was, even if I just have wisdom, you know, as the takeaway. But for a lot of you, this is kind of like big moments, crucial moments where you really have become that phoenix from the ashes. You've risen out of the wreckage, out of previous versions of yourself, or, you know, obstacles that would have crushed like a lesser being. And you are here. You're still here. You're still alive. You're glorious at this particular point in time. Like, your scars are nothing to be ashamed of. There's almost a sense of those kind of glistening upon you in a way. It's going to be very obvious to you, sort of the nature of what you have come through, that it feels like will reinforce some sort of like inner strength or inner resolve that you truly are not alone moving forward. And there's also an energy coming through, like you may look like you are alone, or you're walking alone, but you're never alone. So again, your guardian angel, Archangel Michael specifically, may be walking very closely with you at this time. Not just in a way that you typically are able to kind of perceive or receive or interact those energies through prayer, through meditation, you know, through downloads, or, you know, in the dream space, or however that connection point happens. But it's things like in a material sense that are going to be very obvious to you, very recognizable, very personal, and very specific. That, yeah, this isn't just something that you're reaching for, kind of like, you know, give me strength, guide me, but that it's like those requests for assistance have been answered. You've helped yourself, and so help is now like not just on the way, but it's here for you in that capacity. And one of the big things is going to be able to look back on those challenges that you had to walk through, the wreckage that you had to walk through in order to create this version of yourself in the here and now. And there's going to be like an empowered energy, because of the things that would have really bothered you, would have really triggered you, would have really sort of, you know, set you off on, you know, a shame spiral, or, you know, brought up a lot of things emotionally. It's like you've transcended these things. You're not just the bird's eye perspective. You're like in outer space looking down at these little things from the past, and they can't hurt you anymore. You know, the impact emotionally is not as big. You're realizing like that's the past, and you are here in the present. And so it's important in the here and now to kind of just be, you know, focused on the future. And that's not just going to be a cliche. It's not just going to be something that you're striving towards, you're hoping for, you're working towards, but it's something that it feels like you're going to feel that embodiment of through that healing energy, through that rejuvenation. It's like your internal armor is on, not in a way that is guarded, but in a way that lets you know, like, you are battle tested. You are not standing in like Nine of Wands energy, like wounded warrior. This is almost somebody, again, the phrase tactician is coming through. It's like you've been through some battles. You know, you are a formidable force. And so you are able to move forward now into the future, into the years to come, or even like lifetimes to come, you know, not as somebody that is sort of like a novice or very kind of like green or inexperienced, but you've transcended those sort of layers of yourself. And it feels like this is almost like you've earned this kind of energy. You've earned this like internal armor. You've earned this ability to understand the past no longer has a hold upon you. All that matters is this present moment and kind of where you're moving, going forward. And so that guardian angel energy, that archangel Michael energy, it's coming forth as like close companion, like a best friend sort of energy, as opposed to just, you know, kind of a nebulous concept or something very external to yourself you have to reach for. It's coming in very close to home, very very close to you in a way that is very obvious, that is very apparent, so that you are equipped and empowered with the knowing that you're not alone moving forward. We also have healing. Yeah, so this is the benefit of the path that you have been walking, that you've been forced to walk, or that you've chosen to walk up to this point in time. You know, to take ownership and accountability for the wreckage of your past, for anything in your life that wasn't working, that wasn't making you feel good, that wasn't like lifting you up, that wasn't aligned with that higher timeline, that high vibration, that best life in the here and now. You've cleared those things out. You fought those battles, you know, maybe even the battle with yourself to let go of things that you knew were not in accordance with your highest good, people, places, and things. You've chosen better for yourself. You have called in that higher frequency. You've become that higher frequency through the life you're living, through your daily actions, through your mindset, through the intentions that you set, the action steps that you take to co-create with the divine and sort of meet the universe halfway, in the direction of like what you want to experience by way of better. For some people that's feeling better. For others it's, you know, experiencing better. For others it's kind of, you know, just sort of moving beyond the hurts of yesterday, something that is the alternative to that. All of that is something that has been noted. It has been observed by the divine, that you're not just someone that stood there with kind of like an open hand and sort of like, help me, rescue me, save me. You know, you might have had those prayers for salvation, but you have taken steps to save yourself, to help yourself, to do what you can with what you have available, in order to kind of ready yourself to be in that right energy, in that right mindset, in that right experience physically, to be able to be lifted up out of that suffering, out of that hurt, out of that wreckage of the past, out of the disappointment. You know, you felt that hurt. You felt your feelings. Instead of running from them, instead of numbing them out, instead of denying them, instead of avoiding them, you felt all of that. You have gone through a process of personal alchemy. You know, you've done the best that you could with the tools you have available to you in the present moment, the best that you can as a spiritual being having a human experience in the embodied 3D sense. And so now it feels like you're getting that reinforcement from your guardian angel, from Archangel Michael, from the divine, that really celebrates, that sees, that acknowledges, that reciprocates, that assists, that kind of enables the next phase or step of you moving forward into your future as a person that has survived their past. And not just survived their past, but you have willed yourself, and you're continuing to will yourself into the energy of like, I shall thrive beyond this. I shall move beyond the things that tried to break me. I shall embrace the version of myself that is beyond my mistakes, beyond the wreckage of yesterday, standing very presently in this current moment and looking forth with the expectation of, no matter what has happened, no matter where you are at, beautiful things are still possible. This is all that energy of your guardian angel, specifically Archangel Michael. But if there are other angels that you work with, or, you know, if your guardian angel, you're kind of like, it's very personal. It's not like one of the big archangels. It's just, you know, someone very kind of individual or known to you. It's all of that sort of energy that is coming forth to you, that is standing by your side as you continue to bravely sort of face the reality of your life in the here and now, this version of yourself, and continue to, you know, choose the expectation, you know, of better things are to come, better days are to come, or I'm very grateful for the here and now. All of that is something that is tuned into that right frequency where you're going to get that energetic healing, you're going to get that energetic support, you're going to see kind of your efforts to create peace for yourself are matched energetically by these waves of peace, by these waves of healing that are coming forth. For some of you, this is the energy of like, you're going to start waking up, and maybe not like every single day, but it feels like gradually over kind of like a 30-day period, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel more at peace. It's going to feel like a spontaneous healing, but really it's just the universe reciprocating through the ambassador, the agent of the guardian angel, the angelic realm, that work that you've done within yourself to like, I want better. I want to feel better. I want a better experience than what I've created for myself or what has been handed to me at this particular point in time. Steps that you've taken to move in that better direction. This is something where you're going to really understand. Like if you understood before kind of the presence of, your guardian angel or angels around you, it's like you're going to understand that on a deeper level. It goes far beyond just angelic protection. This is kind of that other aspect of angelic energy, which is that higher octave frequency. You have prepared enough within yourself, within your perspective, within your energy, within your life or your lifestyle, that you are now able to receive and sustain that in a way that is lasting, in a way that really helps to kind of serve as like a salve upon certain wounds inside that you've come to understand as best as you can. You've cleared those things out. You've like sewed those wounds up as best as you can for yourself. And this is something that doesn't, wash it all away, because nothing does that. But this is something that almost kind of, it encases that sort of woundedness, those scars become almost like encased with gold that becomes gilded. It's like you'll be wearing a gilded armor, internally speaking, that is the evidence that you've lived your life. You've gone through this human experience. Nobody goes through this human experience unscathed. And whatever you've been through, whatever that has been like, whatever you've needed to do in order to heal, in order to come to a place of peace and acceptance, to forgive, or, to honor that wherever you're at in your journey, maybe you're not ready to forgive. Wherever you are at, there's something where that is going to be acknowledged by the divine of like, you've done an excellent job. You understood the assignment. You are effectively living the human experience in the right way, as opposed to people that just never address that wounding, or the choice that you might have had to kind of just perpetuate patterns or keep pointing the finger of blame outward rather than sort of like, okay, circumstances are what they are. What can I do to sort of like change that for myself? What can I do to change the internal or my external reality as I'm living it so that I can progress forward in the direction of something better? Your work has been acknowledged, your efforts have been acknowledged, and this is now the time for kind of that uplifting, that universe sort of matching you, energy for energy. Yeah, we also have awakening. So again, we got that gold energy. Your wounds are about to be gilded with spiritual gold. Your vibration, you have raised that very consciously. You've taken steps to do that. And so this is where you are now able to receive fully that angelic frequency that creates almost those permanent changes in the high vibration. Not that you won't have low points or, things that happen where your vibe is lowered. I mean, again, it's the human experience. There are ups and downs. It's not all just linear or like a straight path forward, but there is a level that you have reached. You've created a unique pathway forward for yourself towards that, even just the perception of that. And so it's almost like the pathway forward to that, the path that you have walked up to this point, the effects that your life has had upon you, energetically speaking, and the steps that you've taken to heal beyond those things or love yourself in the midst of all of that. This is something where the angelic realm wants to really showcase that. You have made an effort to, shine kind of a brighter light out into the world, even despite what you've been going through, despite the things that might have tried to break you down or crumble you or, thwart you or kind of, might have compelled other people to just sort of operate in that lower vibration. You might have existed there for a period of time, but you've looked up, you've stepped up, you've kind of risen beyond all of that, or you're taking steps to do that, to ascend, to heal, to choose better, to believe that better is possible. And so this is now the occasion where that energy comes in, that help that was on the way, it arrives in the sense of, your guardian angel being more predominantly noticeable in your life, being more obviously notable to you, and not just a temporary presence, but like walking with you very obviously from this point forward in more obvious ways. You've created an aspect inside of yourself to have more of a conscious contact. The nature of how you connect with this angelic energy as well may start to change. The previous kind of methods of prayer, meditation, connecting in that sense, those will still be good. Those will still be active. Those will still be things that are guaranteed ways for you to connect with the energy source that you are seeking. But it feels like there will be new pathways that have been created. Energetically speaking, you've changed something within yourself that's getting ready to be matched by the divine, that allows you to connect more easily, more readily, in a more obvious way, in a more personal way. So for a lot of you, this is kind of signaling the time where you're moving beyond just seeing feathers in your path or angel numbers, although definitely those can start to increase if those are tried and true sort of confirmations for you. But it feels like you're going to start to get kind of signs and synchronicities and symbols that are very personal to you, things that would be just for you. You're not going to Google that and sort of find, oh, that's what that means. It's going to be something that resonates with you. It's going to resonate on that internal armor that you are wearing, that is kind of like matched or the equivalent or in that same sort of spectrum as the concept of like Archangel Michael, for example, and the armor that he wears. This is that kind of a frequency of a sense of sort of like you again have kind of like you've come through certain battles, you've survived your life this long, and with an open heart or efforts to kind of like heal your heart, you've discovered the light within yourself, you've become that light in the darkness, you have managed to preserve that light despite things that had you've experienced that might have tried to sort of dim that or extinguish that in certain ways. And so this is almost being claimed or called in closer by your guardian angel, by your angelic team, by the angelic realm in general, in ways that you are really going to be certain, like, I don't walk this world alone. I don't walk my path alone. Feeling that presence, feeling that healing, feeling that kind of confirmation that the steps that you've taken to save yourself have really been worth it, because now you are in this position to receive that enlightenment, that awakening of, okay, it's not just all my efforts. This is something that is truly energetically and in ways that are beyond my ability to fully understand. It is part of that agreement. It is part of that choice. It is part of that path that you choose to move in that direction of healing, and the universe moves with you. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.